Hiya, it's Linda Lee and welcome back to my channel. It's been a little while since I've shared something with you, but I have been I made a journal for somebody who makes lots of journals. And it's a friend of mine. Her name is Kelly Snow, and she has been a really good friend to me. And she's challenged me, she's encouraged me. She's the whole reason why I'm on YouTube, actually. And anyway, I made this in appreciation of all that she's really done for me, and it's for her birthday, which is going to be December 18th, and I just wanted to do a little flip through. I didn't record any of the making of this journal, so it's just a flip through, that's all. And at the end I'll put a little slideshow, and I'll even tag that in the description so that you can go right to the slideshow if you don't want to listen to the chatter. But the journal itself is, if I can get my ruler here, actually it's a yardstick, and measuring, it's about 8.5 by 6 inches, counting the little fluff that I got on the edge here. It's basically a folded piece of like copy paper, and that you'll notice that the cover is a little bit smaller than the pages themselves. My original idea, and as you know, plans change a lot when you're creating. I originally wanted to hand stitch these pearls onto the page underneath so that it kind of framed this little frame, or the little book cover, all the way around, or at least in part. But what I did is I used my sewing machine to make perforations in the paper, and when I went to hand stitch it, the spacing, I just couldn't get it right, and it looked kind of wonky. So needless to say, I kind of scrapped that idea, but I still kind of like the layered look between the cover and the pages and the ruffles. So I went with that part of the idea, just not the pearls. So anyway, it is, like I was saying, a hard cover. I have a small 1-inch spine or so, and I used a 3-hole pamphlet stitch for the single signature that's inside. This is just crochet trim that's glued onto the outside. This is the back, and the front has a little pocket and this little tuck on the side. So I have a little tag and a journal card that's on the front, decorating, and also hiding what is a journal spot that's available on the front if she wanted to use it. A little cluster that's just on, you know, a little cardstock with a little bulldog clip. And then I have a little tag for journaling, as well as a journal card for journaling. So anyway, this can be written on, and I kind of made the whole journal with the idea of all the surfaces being written on as much as possible. So I don't have a lot of stuff on the inside. It's not a naked journal by any means, but let me bring this up, and if I can angle it just right, there it is. Simplify everything. So I really want a t-shirt with that. Simplify to amplify, as a good friend of mine, Auret, would say. So anyway, this is the journal. So let's go ahead, and I have a lace piece here, lace ribbon, or satin ribbon, I guess more, that I have on the inside cover. I glued it in between this little cardstock piece and the book cover itself. So it doesn't matter how thick this gets, it won't put any stress on any inside pages because I have it attached to the outside of the book. So looking at the book, oh, I was messing around with the inside, and it's not all put back together again. So
let me find the paper that goes there. Here we go. So this goes in here. This goes in here.
Okay, so I got the insides, I think, pretty much put where they belong. All right, let's try again. So I have cheesecloth and lace kind of adorning the inside throughout, and not a lot of crochet pieces, but here and there. Now this white lace, it is actually on a huge ball of ruffle, okay? And I've been holding on to this lace because I love it, but I don't really use anything ruffly. So what I actually ended up doing is tearing this piece off of the lace itself. So this here now is nice and flat. So you can see how I actually glued it flat on the book pages. And then this piece here, I've actually used as like tag toppers in different places. So I still used all of it. I just didn't use it as a whole piece. So anyway, we got this little book mark, I guess it is, or skinny tag. And this is a little piece of paper that when I make stuff, I usually have a piece of paper covering my work area. And this is one of the surface cover papers from when I was doing my finger painting techniques. So this is avocado water that's staining the paper. I did a little bit of distressing on the edges and just attached a little circle of this kit. Now the paper itself, the digital kit that I'm using, I'm gonna have to insert the name only because I don't remember her full Etsy shop name. But she was a very sweet girl. I had a little bit of difficulty with the download, and she was very sweet and helped me like almost immediately. So anyway, I'll give kudos to her and continue through the book. So this is cardstock, and whenever I do my signatures, I do like a signature cover. And so this is cardstock, and the rest on the inside is more of a copy paper. So this is a little thinner. I do have a pocket that I made on the side, so I've got some journaling cards tucked in. This is a piece of the digital kit that is Lena's with the roses and the lace. This here is actually a card out of one of those card decks or pads. This one is called Old World Winter, and I just kind of liked the darker paper with the really light kit. We have a postcard event going on in Junk Journal Junkies, etc. And I used these papers for some of those postcards that I made in that event. But anyway, a little piece of the lace. We got some cheesecloth here, and the little dragonfly, of course, is part of the kit. Cheesecloth, journaling areas, just a little bit of stamping throughout. I only used one stamp to kind of keep it uniform. It's actually my favorite stamp. I don't know who it is or where it came from, but anyway, I used a piece of crochet trim to create a little belly band. So this is stitched all the way through and goes to the other side. Other side. But it gives us a little tab here, and the tag that I have right here, just a little piece of cardstock paper that I used that same little stamp on. And this is a piece of ephemera that was sent to me by one of my friends. At this point I don't recall who it is, but I just did a little bit of distressing, stamping, and sewing around it. And I really liked, again, the darker print with the lighter pages and prints. And then the kit. So we have little lines that were part of the digital kit. And if you can see, I will try to zoom in a little bit. But this right here is just seam binding that's glued to the page, and then I sewed over top of it once it was nice and dry. So I did that every other page or two with different seam bindings. Seam bindings that I actually got them from Kelly Snow in her shop. Bygones Variety Shop, which is actually closed right now. I think just while she's doing some remodeling. But anyways, I have some crochet trim pieces and another little pocket, little tags, of course a little book card, and then this is just a little scrap piece that I didn't want to go to waste. This here is a large envelope that is attached to another one just like it on the other side of the signature. I just used a piece of the cardstock to make a hinge so that it's sewn in and it flaps on the outside. So this here, again, I don't have anything in this pocket. I think I do on the other side, but just not on this side. And this came out of a little kit that was sent to me as a gift when I was queen a couple years ago. But I don't remember who it came from. But I still have some more seam binding on the edge. Just kind of crimpled and glued and stitched. Here I took a coffee stained envelope and just glued it flat to the page with a piece of ribbon underneath it and tied it. So that way we can just put our little secret notes in here and tie them and keep them securely shut. A little bit of crochet trim on the edge. So here I have a little tag that's glued to a large oversized paper clip, and a little designer card that I distressed and just tied a little piece of lace trim to. A little guest card. And then on this side I have a little bookmark and junk mail envelope I used, and just put a piece of the kit inside and then stitched it closed with a little piece of the cardstock on the back. So we have a little bookmark, some more seam binding. Here you can see the stitches a little better, I think. Isn't this a pretty kit though? I really liked it a lot. It had more pages than I actually used, only because some of them were just a little bit different and I kind of really wanted to stay with a specific look. So anyway, this is the center of the signature. These are just two little note card envelopes that have been coffee stained, and again I made a little hinge for them to be sewn directly into the book. So this is where everything is sewn, and the ends of the strings I just put these little circle punches. It's a 1-inch circle punch. I have little note cards in the envelope, so more pieces of my paper. This paper is again the avocado paper, and I just made these little circles as little tabs to hold the paper shut. And I have another one on the other side. So we're on the other side of the book, and it's pretty much very similar to the other. This paper here, if you take a look at this, this is actually beet juice. So this one here is avocado, and this one is beet. So you can kind of see the difference in color. The beet juice is much more pink, and then this one is a little more on the mauve-y side. So it's with the boiling the seeds in the pits. This is more of the color that you will get when you boil both the seeds and the pits together. And again, I have it still sealed closed with one of my little circle punch tabs that I made. So a little paper clip with seam binding. And then a little more of the crochet trim. And now this page is probably the most elaborate of my pages. I have a little glassine bag with a tag, a little tag that's tucked behind it, and then this little coin envelope that's stitched behind with a little folded piece of coffee paper on the inside. This is a little craft paper pocket that's made out of craft paper, and I just have it distressed and stitched. A little journaling card that I have inside that little craft pocket. And then this here is just a foreign script book page. I don't remember where it came from, but it was gifted to me from one of my friends in Europe. And this looks like it's in German to me, but I don't know for sure. I'm just assuming that it's German. And then we have one more journaling card that came out of the Old World Winter little pad that I showed you earlier. So let me tuck these back in, and turning the page, a little more of my crochet edging and more seam binding. This is the other envelope from the other side. So isn't this pretty though? It has this little gilding on it, or embossing I guess it is, with the gold. And then I have a piece of dot pan beet juice paper folded into this pocket. No little tab on this one. So I have strings everywhere, if you haven't noticed. I do enjoy strings. I know Kelly does too, but she can trim them off if she doesn't want so many. Another little tag that matches the envelope, and just the tiniest of corner pockets, the tiniest of little tags. And if we take a look here, we got one more of the coffee dyed envelopes that are just glued down and tied, and seam binding on the edges. So here is an embellished paper clip, and I made a little journal card out of the cardstock. This is still her kit. And a little tea bag. This is just a little gift card envelope. So my little circle tab closure, and the little white lace on the front. So the little envelope, or the little paper clip, just little distressing, and the lace, and a little bit of the cheesecloth. So all of this here actually just, I'm going to slip it back on and slip this under, and then the little tea bag put in here. This side has a journaling card that also fits underneath over here. Again, this is from the same kit. And a little more of the baby pink seam binding. I used all of my baby pink. I don't have any more, so hopefully Santa Claus hears my cry. I think my guy is getting me some for Christmas. I don't know for sure, but he said that he has something pink. Oh, I don't know what it is. Anyway, here is the other little cardstock piece that I stitched the little trim belly band. I got a little seed card or envelope, seed packet envelope that I distressed. I didn't do any stamping on that. One more of the little cards that match the larger envelope. And then this here are little pages that came out of a little journal book that I purchased. Where do I have it close by? So I do. So this little book here, if you'll notice, it has little stitching in here that's holding the papers in. So when you get these little journal books, a lot of them are sewn together in little separate signatures. So if you take your like seam ripper and cut those little papers or the little threads, you can take some of those pages out and leave them intact. See, I just trying to show you and be all fancy. I just cut the paper, but that's how I got these to come out. So let me do one more since I started, and I can show you how easy they come out. So now I have more little pages that I could either sew together and make a little booklet, or I can cut them and make little tags, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, but that's what I did to get these pages here. And then I just used my hole punch, your regular hole punch, and punched 2 holes and tied it together with a piece of seam binding. Now this can simply be untied, and these can be taken apart and used in any way that you want, or just use it as a little book. So just something that I kind of put together, hopefully to be journaled on one day by Miss Snow herself. And then this is the back side of the signature cover. So again, this is like a cardstock. And then this here, because some of the pages are not easy to write on because of what's either underneath them, the little knots and whatnot, I made a writing board. And so basically it just gives you a hard surface underneath. It's just a heavier piece of cardboard. This here was the cardboard. I think this was the back of like some kind of pad of paper. And I just took one of the digital kit pages and I folded it in half. So there's no raw edges on the writing board itself except for under here that I have it stitched. So I glued it with glue stick. I distressed the edges, and then I sewed the edge after gluing some of the flat lace to it. So now we have a little writing board in here. So it gives a nice hard flat surface for writing, especially like I was saying. So like if I wanted to write on this side of the page, this here doesn't give me a nice flat smooth surface. But now I got one. So that's the journal, kids. That's everything. I just want to tuck this in back in here. Oh, I do have one more pocket. One more piece of beet juice paper. And then this here, these cards were part of the very first time that I did coffee staining. And after they were partially dry, what I did is I kind of tossed these little cards in a pile, and they were overlapping each other, and I didn't realize that they would wick the dye itself or the coffee, and left little patterns on each other. So that was pretty cool. That was a fun little discovery the first time I did coffee dyeing. But they're just simply tied with a little piece of seam binding so that they can also just pull this, and these all come apart for separate little cards and notes and whatever you might want to use them for. So anyway, that is the journal that I made for my friend Kelly. And I'm going to get this in the mail to her with a bunch of other little stuff that I found while thrifting. And so hopefully she will love it as much as I enjoyed making it. And I just got to put it all back together now. That's the only thing with these flip throughs. We take them apart, and I hate to take the time to put them back together, because that takes a lot of time sometimes. Where's my little dragonfly? Here it is. So the little dragonfly, and these went where the little circle piece is, wherever that is. Here it is. So anyway, this is one of the projects that I have finished. I have another journal that is under construction. That journal is also made with a kit. So this is only the second kit that I've used. The first kit I'm finishing, it's from Daisy Collins, her Azalea set. So hopefully that will be my next flip through that I show you. But I wanted to be sure to get this one put together so that I could mail it out. If you didn't notice, I do have little metal corners on the hardcover too. They're kind of hidden a little bit. It's just a little subtle peekaboo. You can see it better on the back. So anyway, that is the journal. I'm going to put it in this little bag that happens to match this little ribbon. I had no idea that I had coordinating components, but it's crazy the stuff that you find when you kind of start sifting through stuff looking for one thing and you find another. All right, so now I'm going to cue up the little slideshow so you can see some still pictures of the journal. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave me a little comment. It's nice to be back. Hopefully it will not be as long before I send up another video. Again, I really do appreciate that you're here, that you're still here and watching, and we will talk to you again soon. If I don't come on for any reason before Christmas, Merry Christmas, everybody. Enjoy your new year, and I hope that everybody is blessed with health and prosperity and love. Thank you again for being here. Have a great night.